Afternoon for some of you those on the East Coast, I think. Keep that down. Hey, I wanted to do just an impromptu because I've been thinking about a couple of things. I've been reading a lot of data. I've been um, really studying up on the data and the trends of everything that happened last year, um, and with Airbnb and how to maximize your existing properties, how to select future properties, um, where do you want to put your money, those sorts of things. So, anyways, wanted to jump on here a little impromptu. I didn't have anything scheduled today, but I just wanted to share with you a couple of details and some things that we're doing. So, a couple of systems that I've been getting asked about as far as the automation is concerned that I just cannot live without. Um, Number one is Guesty for pros. And to give you guys an idea on this system, it is hands down, by far the best that I've seen. Now there's other management softwares out there. This one's got a couple of things that I don't like, but for the overall majority, I'm very happy, very satisfied with it. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples on why I like it, and then a couple of reasons why I don't. Um, the number one reason I think that I like it is because it's a hub. You can do everything through Guesty, and you don't need to have um, you don't need to message through Airbnb if you don't want to. You don't need to message through Verbo, Booking.com, any other platforms. They all sync up, and everything that happens in Guesty gets pushed out to those. So let's say if you get a property that books on VRBO and you don't have a management software, well, now you quickly need to go over to Airbnb and manually do that, manually block off those dates. But with a booking platform like this, you don't have to do that. It simply automatically does it instantaneously so that you can go about your business. You don't have to worry about it. Now, another really cool thing that it does, and there's also this automated message that's on Airbnb's platform. Verbo's not that good with this, at least that I found. Um, all the automated messages are just built right in. They're preloaded. They come in with an integrated API, and what that basically means is it's talking to Price Labs, it's talking to our remote lock, it's talking to all of that stuff. So when we get a new booking, so a customer comes on and they book our property without asking any questions, that happens, that means we did our job. If they're asking 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, that means your listing isn't loaded with enough information. So what you need to do there is then reload all those questions. If you kind of get commonly asked questions, put those on your listing, so that they don't get asked again. Right now, someone could ask, and if they're like me, I'm just skimming through shit and I'm not really looking at stuff. But so when it comes to that, um, you can preload all this stuff. So in this case, we have a message that goes out. Thank you so much for booking with us. We hope we're very accommodating to your stay. Blah blah blah. So a quick little short message. Then we have a longer one that gets sent out a little bit later. If their booking's really close, then it gets sent right away. But if their booking's not till, let's say, April, then it's going to wait a day or two and then populate basically the message of, well, let me just pull one up real quick. I'll tell you exactly what it says. Sorry for my loud keyboard. Well, that's hilarious. I use Guesty so much that I am logged out on my Airbnb on my computer. So, anyways, the point of this is that the automated message there is it gives you the check-in, the check-out times. It gives you some house rules: no smoking, no parties, no extra guests. All that stuff's down at the bottom. It's got my cell phone number. Hey, if you got any trouble, give me a buzz. A lot of people want to be 100% hands off on all of this stuff, and I will tell you that's hard. Being 100% hands off is hands off. I sound like Biden. Hands off is difficult. You can have a property management company do all this shit for you, and then they're going to be fully hands-on. There's a lot of people out there on social media preaching hands off, hands off, hands off. And I'm like, that's difficult for me because we're really building a brand and we're wanting to protect our business and protect our reputation. So we want every stay to be perfect. My wife is checking every single property after the cleaner gets done with it. Now, our standards are very high. So I'll get back to guesting in a minute, but while I'm talking about this, I think it's important. Our standards are very high. So if you're okay with maybe they left a cleaning supply bottle out, or they didn't put the pillows right, or turn the blinds the correct way, or they left the toilet seat up and they didn't put the toilet seat down, or maybe they left the soap sponge out from the previous guest, or forgot the bathroom trash, or maybe they didn't clean the bathroom shower window. If you're okay with those little things getting missed, then yeah, don't check your property after your cleaner. Or they don't set up your snacks right. They only put out a couple of bottles of water. For me, that's not okay. We have a Blair's House promise, and we want to make sure that our Blair's House promise um, is met. And if it's met, then we did our job, because we are competing. We are in the fight of our lives for 5-star reviews. And until you have that mindset, you're not going to be a badass host. I know they call it super host, whatever. That's just an Airbnb term, but we want to be an amazing host. We want everyone to know that they can come at a Blair's House property and it can be perfectly clean. And guys, this is just kudos to my wife. Like this is her standard for us living at home. Got 4 teenagers running around this house. It's a madhouse, but hence why all the whiskey behind me. But here's the deal. She's very particular. Her name's on the line. She's the one doing all this work. She's the one that manages the properties for me. I get to sit here and talk to you like I know what I'm talking about. I'm kidding. I know a few things. But back to guesting. So how do we integrate all this stuff? So I put a link in there. It's a discounted link. So if you click that and you want to sign up and manage your properties through Guesty, I urge you to do that. Do the Guesty for Pros. What I like about it is you get a liaison. So you're going to get a person that's going to sit down with you once a week on Zoom for an hour and go over everything that this service has to offer. You also get this multi-calendar view, which is pretty cool. You get to check it out. The automations, the integrations, the revenue management, or the analytics, the financials, all that stuff. Let's say you're going for a bank loan and you need proof that you did this amount of revenue. It's not just deposits in your bank account. Well, they have documents and forms that look pretty nice, and you just fill in the letterhead information and all that stuff. And then boom, you now have your documents for your DSCR loan, right? Debt service coverage ratio loan that you can show a bank. Hey, this is what we've done the last 12 months. This is what we're projecting to do. All right. So I hope that covers Guesty. There's just so much in Guesty. It's almost impossible for me to do this in a short clip like this, but you can really get into it. And I tell you what, we can't live without it. The integration is pretty awesome here. I'm getting a couple of questions. I'm just going to silence those for a second. I'll answer them when I'm done here. The next thing is Price Labs. Guys, Price Labs is so important to our business because you can't just have a set $200 a night price. That just doesn't make sense. That's not how the airlines do it for seats. It's not how hotels do it. It varies based off of the demand in the area. So let's say that the demand is very high and it's pushing close to 60 to 70% in your area that night, and you're sitting at $200. Well, maybe you could have gotten 300. So you're leaving money on the table. The next thing that you need to do is, if you're at $200, maybe you could have booked that place for 180. And instead of making 200 or potentially making 200, you made 0. You could have made 180. So it's kind of like this rolling pricing. And so as far as what it costs, it's inconsequential to what we pay. Honestly, I don't even notice it on the income statement. It's such a small number that we do pay. And the discounts are pretty good if you have multiple properties that we manage like we do. And for that matter, Blair and I only manage half of our portfolio. The rest of them are in other states with other property managers. We want to be local to our properties so that we can have that hands-on approach. I love the two property managers that we use now. They're awesome at what they do. So if you need someone in Florida on the Gulf or in Kansas City, definitely let me know. I'd love to help you out there. So the link for Price Labs, it's in the I guess in the not the comment section, but it's in the post here. So if you guys want to click that, check it out, knock yourself out. I don't have a remote lock link. I'm sure if you just Google that, remote locks are like a lifesaver. There's no more keys. There's no more changing the codes every time a cleaner comes through. There's no more of any of that. If you have Wi-Fi in the property, you can use remote lock. And we don't ever get in there unless some guest wants to check in early. So at 4 o'clock, this is what I love about it. So we'll give our codes to our guests sometimes a month in advance. Oh man, what if they can get to the property while somebody else is there? Well, they can't. Okay, one, that's trespassing. Two, they can't. It won't work until 4 p.m. of their check-in day. And it's all done through this thing called an integrated API. Don't ask me what that is. It's a technical term, but I just know it works. And I'm not smart enough to set it all up. That's why I have Guesty do this. The next thing is it kills the code at the time of their checkout, which is at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. is a checkout for us. 4 p.m. is a check-in. So it kills that code. They can't get back into the house at 10 a.m. Now that's time for our cleaners to get there, do their thing, turn over the property. Speaking of that, guys, cleaners is one of the hardest parts about this business. So having good, reliable cleaners on your staff is very, very, very important. If you get one that you absolutely love, well, then you need to pay them a little bit more and pat them on the back, take them to dinner, give them gift cards, pay for some gas for their car, whatever you need to do. Make sure that you are keeping them happy, because we've had some really good cleaners and we've had some bad cleaners and some people that didn't know what they were doing. And in the instance that you necessarily can't get to the property, you really want to make sure that you got somebody good. And man, I'll tell you what, my wife goes into exceptional detail with this. She has pictures of how the bed skirts are supposed to look, how the mat, everything's supposed to be folded, how the pillows are, the snacks laid out. I mean, we have a booklet, but here's the thing. They don't always follow that booklet. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just noticed that. My kids always love to do this. Sorry, my bad. Anyways, yeah, 4 teenagers running the house, right? So, with that said, I wanted to go into a couple of bonus things too. So I hope that covers Guesty, Price Labs, and the remote lock. Those 3 things are awesome. As far as the TVs we get Hisense. I think I'm saying that right. Roku TVs. The reason being is those remotes. Do I have one here? I used to have one. Anyways, those remotes you can get on Amazon and they're interchangeable. You don't want the Roku or Fire Stick or any of that thing behind the TV, because having to sync those remotes all the time is a pain in the ass. But those Rokus just work, so if they're going to get lost, it's just a matter of time, lost or broken or whatever. So you got one to use, kind of maybe have 2 or 3 in backup batteries always in your stock. Okay, so those are the TVs we like to get. What size? I don't know, man. Whatever is on sale, either at Amazon or Walmart. We look for the cheapest ones that fit those buckets, so that I'm not really thinking about it too much. TVs do go on sale a lot on Amazon, so for the main areas, 55, 60 inch, those are probably the good range. For the bedrooms, anything from a 32 to a 45, totally fine with that. We're working on some pretty cool concepts. We've got 4 more houses to set up, finish the renovations, set those up. And until that time, I just need to cool my jets a little bit, because I've got some ideas on some things that I want to put in the woods. some treehouse ideas, some A-frame ideas, some pretty cool stuff. So my construction team, once they're done with these 4 houses, we're going to be moving out into the woods and working a little bit and doing some really cool stuff. So we're going to show you guys. Let's see what else. Oh, those links and pictures that I'm posting about the AirDNA data, guys, look at them, read it. It's important if you're in this space. I'll give you a couple of takeaways that I thought were extremely interesting. The first one is that only 15% of Airbnb hosts are superhosts. I thought that was a staggeringly low statistic. The next one is even more important. You get a 24% advantage by being a superhost. So a quarter advantage. So your listing is going to get pushed to the top of the page, booked more 24% of the time than someone who's not a superhost. So getting a superhost status and maintaining that superhost status is why we're in the fight of our lives for those 5-star reviews. Let's see a couple of others. Oh, the Oxford Economics. First time I've heard of them. I'm not much of a book nerd until it's in a field that I want to know about. They did a study that showed that the coming recession is going to be a goods recession. So when I say goods, I mean everything you're buying on Amazon, the grocery store, all of those sorts of things. But it's not going to affect travel as much. So travel will be affected since jobs are extremely high at the moment. So unemployment is an all-time low. You're not going to see business travel affected at all. So I thought that was a pretty interesting statistic when most of the travelers that we have are in the business field. So we have a lot of suburban stays. So what I mean by that is we have houses in neighborhoods with no HOAs and in cities that allow us to do this, so that people traveling on business or traveling to the area for a specific reason, not necessarily for leisurely travel, it's good to know that that business isn't going to be affected. The next one was some of the areas that are going to be affected heavy is oh gosh, I posted it. So just go back to that picture and look at it. I'm not going to go down the list. What else did I think that was pretty cool? Oh, everyone keeps tagging this the Airbnb bust. Well, they're doing that because it's the same thing that happened with home flippers. It happened to myself. You had all this inventory and things, or excuse me, he had very little inventory and all these properties are just selling like hotcakes. Well, here's the thing about that. Interest rates killed that. So a lot of people got stuck with a lot of inventory. Me in particular, I had to unload 42 houses and we thankfully got it done. Some are now Airbnbs and some we just fire saled and some we flipped to retail, blah, blah, blah. But the point I'm trying to make here is that those dirt cheap interest rates and all that excess of capital that the government was pouring out into the economy, and the economy was doing really well without even doing that, created this Airbnb boom. So in 2020, pre-pandemic, right? This is March. So pre-March 2020, we were at a 50% occupancy rate nationwide in the US, not worldwide. 50%. It spiked in the middle of 2020 and on into 2021 to 60%. So a 10% growth in something in such a short period of time was just absolutely massive. So everyone rushed into this business. Everyone who had properties was booking up crazy. We had properties. We were loving the cash flow. It was insane. Then let's see. So that went to 60%. Oh, 56.1%. So if you read that link, all this data is in there. But here's the deal. we're still at higher than pre-pandemic levels. So I don't like trends like this that shoot up, shoot down like this, but we're still seeing a steady growth. There's still more properties on uh, that are available than there were pre-pandemic. The occupancy rates are still higher. The profitability per property is still higher. So you need to take all that in consideration when the property values have come down the way they are. There's probably going to be some good buying opportunities with shitty interest rates. Well, why would you buy then, right? Well, refinance down the road. Interest rates aren't going to be this way forever. It's not going to happen. It's 6.5% for a 30-year right now. For a business loan, it's in that 8.5 to 9% range. At least that's what we're paying now on our line of credit and things like that we have. So anyways, guys, I hope this information was interesting to you. If you liked it, go ahead and throw me a follow or whatever. If you're watching it now, you probably did follow me. But if you like the content, share it around, push it. Let me know if you guys have any questions or want to see anything else. Happily share it with you guys. So happy Friday, and we'll talk to you soon.